the Jewish people, World War II was one of their darkest hours. But at the end of that war, they were finally restored to the ancient promised land of Israel. In the coming decades, they resolved to hold on to their land. But this would be tested time and time again by Arabs who still considered that region to be their home. Since 1948, when the British mandate over Palestine ended and the state of Israel took shape, displaced Palestinians and neighboring Arabs have violently opposed its very existence. Several pan-Arab military campaigns have been waged to destroy the fledgling state, but all have ended in humiliation and defeat for the Arabs. Israel, on the other hand, enjoys swift victories and captures Arab lands. With each new defeat, the Arab resentment of the Jewish state only grows. Like many politicians before him, Anwar Sadat, the president of Egypt, sees attacking Israel as a means to gain popular support in the Arab world. On October 6, 1973, the Jewish Day of Atonement, Egypt and Syria launch a joint attack that touches off the Yom Kippur War. The Israelis are caught off guard and the invading armies score early victories. But as the civilian reservists are mobilized, the Israeli army begins to push the Syrians back to the north. The Egyptians are contained to the south, and in a daring move, Israeli armored divisions push over the Suez Canal and encircle the advancing Egyptian Third Army. The Arab forces have been repulsed, but at a heavy cost. This time, it's not an easy victory for Israel. They've lost 5,500 men and large quantities of tanks and fighter planes. In typical Cold War fashion, the United States rushes arms to Israel while the Soviet Union supplies the Arab states. Fearing an escalation of the war that will involve the two superpowers, Brezhnev and Henry Kissinger managed to negotiate a ceasefire. Israel's wounds served to deflate the state's sense of security while restoring some measure of pride to the Arab world. Ironically, it's this war that persuades the two parties to return to the negotiating table. President Sadat begins the process with a visit to Israel. And then in 1977, both Sadat and Menachem agree to meet with President Jimmy Carter of the United States to discuss terms for peace. It's an unprecedented meeting of Arab and Israeli. The three men retreat to Camp David to begin an intense period of negotiations that will last for 13 long days. Negotiations are by no means easy, but in the end, all three emerge to announce a breakthrough.
This great aspiration of Israel has been certified without constraint with the greatest degree of enthusiasm by President Sadat, the leader of one of the greatest nations on earth.
The central issues of land and the recognition of the Israeli state are not resolved, but a framework is laid for resolution, and more importantly, the Camp David Accord declares peace between Arabs and Jews. In March of 1979, two hourglass-shaped towers along the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania grasped worldwide attention. At 4 a.m. that morning, a faulty valve at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power station allows thousands of gallons of coolant to escape from the main reactor. As the coolant level falls, thousands of exposed fuel rods begin to melt, and the temperature in the core heats up to over 5,000 degrees. The molten radioactive mess then burns through the plant's reaction chamber and fortunately stops on the reactor floor. The plant workers declare an emergency, and people all over the surrounding area are evacuated. Although the plant is badly contaminated and some radiation does leak out into the air, things could have been much worse. Had the radioactive material penetrated the floor of the reactor and escaped into the ground, the whole community would have been contaminated. As crews in radiation suits are busy cleaning up the plant, others analyze the fallout. A sense of fear and rage grows from the realization that the population around the plant was very nearly poisoned. Outraged environmentalists hold demonstrations against nuclear power. And for years after the incident, people continue to blame birth defects, strange crops, and skin rashes on the meltdown at 3 Mile Island.